I tell you what, the biggest thing that we need to do is update the actual graphics at the start of this show, because as part of one player on that there, none of them hold those titles that they actually have on the front of that. So that just goes to show you how far we are by here at Online Darts. A very, very warm welcome, everybody, to night one of the 2024 BetMGM Premier League Darts. This is the Fallout Bar. And if you don't already know what this show is, if you've just found us over the last couple of months, what we do on this show is that we are the only instant reaction dart show. So we tell you what we think happened, we tell you what happened, and then we tell you why we think it happened. And more often than not, we are completely wrong. My name is Jonathan. I hope you're doing okay. And over there, to the right as I look on my screen, is a man who is in Reading this weekend for the World Seniors Darts. It is Jack Garwood. Gob, good evening. I appreciate you are up very, very stupidly early tomorrow morning, but thank you for joining us here on the Fallout Bar. How are you, good sir?
I'm all right. Journey down was nice and simple. Picked the ideal time to travel down, avoid the A34, and if in doubt, pop in and see the mother on the way. Job done.
Could be worse. Could be worse. I should stress, by the way, everybody, that he is hotspotting, because the let's just say the Wi-Fi in his hotel isn't actually that great. So we might lose him a little bit, but we do hope that you're with us to talk about all the darts throughout the night here in Cardiff. A very good evening to everybody already in the chat room watching us live. If you're watching us back, of course, as you catch up or as a podcast, a very warm welcome to you as well. Matthew says, evening, lads. The Rebel County, the Corpus Court. Good evening to you. Hello. Hope you're all good. Stanley says, shame it was a very boring final tonight. The format needs to go back to the way it first was. We will talk about that, I'm sure, a little bit later, as we will definitely talk about this, because my Christ, it was getting my goat. Video Smurf, good name. We don't have to say that. It's part of the show in the UK. He says hello as well. Bob says good evening. Andrew's a good evening there as well. And yes, we are all ready to go then. So, Gob, the initial impressions, I think, is the first talk about this. What was your initial impressions tonight as we look back on the opening evening in
Cardiff? I think the stage is lovely. Well, the majority of the stage. I do have one little bugbear with it, but I don't want to sit here moaning all night. I think for the most part, the players in this Premier League this year they're good to watch, aren't they? They're free flowing. They get on with it. There's two that potentially aren't. One of them, this is going to be a very long 16 weeks for. The other one, I actually think is going to be very, very competitive. They happen to meet in the first game of the night. I think going to a city that has clear allegiances in week number one, I think is a bold move by the PDC, because right now we're talking about, or we're going to end up talking about, some things other than just what happened on the hockey or the darts themselves, which, by the way, takes the shine away from some fantastic performances. Like, we should be sat here absolutely heaping the praise on a 17-year-old who has blown away the world champion in a rematch for the second time in 2 weeks with a majestic performance. And now we're sat here going, yeah, but there's some Wazzock in the crowd whistling on the doubles. The fact we got a whistle on the 9, absolutely abhorrent behaviour. Like, I've seen it all now. Like, we've seen whistling to support players, but that wasn't even in support of anyone, because it was 2 Englishmen playing in Wales and they whistled a 9 attempt. Like, that one just does not make sense at all. All right, I'm going to go straight back to it. Despite our colours, the one thing I do really not like is the colour of the surround.
Really?
I think it's horrid. It's just something like, the surround should be dark for me. It shouldn't draw attention. Right, and it sticks out way, way too much. I don't like the shade of it at all. It looks like a mouldy, sandy, horrid. I'm just not a fan of it at all. The first thing I noticed when I walked into the venue in Reading tonight, they had it on the screens, was the colour of that surround. And nah, not for me.
Interesting. I am actually just trying to work on social channels, knowing that we're actually live. So I am listening to you, and forgive me for not looking at you, but I am also trying to do this on my phone at the same time. There you go. There's a bit of a behind the scenes elements of this, everybody. I'll tell you what, before we actually go into the games itself, like you mentioned the whistling there, and others have mentioned about it. Obviously, Bob here has rightly pointed out the whistling was so annoying when it was watching, but what was it like for the players? I guess, I mean, you know what it's like to play in those sorts of events. Obviously, not necessarily on a PDC stage, but your varsity games, of course, for Nottingham Trent University and University of Nottingham. What is it like when you're hearing nonsense, realistically, like that?
There's two types of nonsense in that situation. When it's just a wall of noise, even if it's booing, right? Yes, you get a little bit tense because of that, but that's then up to you, right? A wall of noise is absolutely, and I've said this frequently, and all the players will agree as well. A wall of noise a player can deal with, anybody can deal with, because it's a constant, right? There is nothing unexpected that makes your body move. Darts is such a finite action or movement. It's a bit like playing snooker. If somebody coughs or does something in the crowd at the wrong time, right? They play in absolute silence for a good reason as well, because any sudden noise or movement can throw your body off. Your body's natural reaction when somebody shrieks or whistles is to tense up a bit. And 9 times out of 10, when somebody whistles, you will see that next dart go low, because that's the reaction of the body. It jerks, it snatches, it stays tight. And that's the issue with the whistling. You can go and cheer on and boo to your heart's content, right? And that creates a pantomime atmosphere. That's what the PDC have been looking for. But the minute you can walk into that venue and have an influence on the result by whistling, there's an issue. And it took to the semi-final stage for the commentators to say, we do believe the security are out there looking for the whistlers. They clearly didn't find them, because a leg later, they're whistling on a 9-dart attempt. It's just absolute ludicrous to me that can still be allowed to happen.
Yeah, I totally agree. I tell you what we'll do, actually, because someone has just joined us here in the bottom of the screen. So let me just go and get us into a throwaway here. Well, you know the score, because wonderful man Cam McFarlane has joined us from Manchester, wearing his Manchester Original shirt as well. Very good evening to you, sir. I hope you're all good. Nice to have you with us.
Oh, it's nice to be back on, and it's nice that you've got our little podcast in the corner as well, which is nice. I clicked the wrong button and it didn't let me put it in there. So
fair enough.
All I can do at this point is absolutely agree with what Gob said. Like, it's not often this happens. Like, we don't always agree.
No.
It genuinely is. You lot just don't like to admit it. It's always, I agree with God, but I don't want to admit it.
No, but absolutely.
It pains me to say it.
A wall of noise is fine. You can boo, you can hiss, you can do whatever you want. But the out of nowhere noises like the whistles when you're trying to throw a dart, it's not conducive to playing good darts, and it's not easy to not get distracted by it, because you will, because it's something out of nowhere, and it's really, really poor, and it was really poor tonight. And like you say, it took them a while to actually call it out, but it should have been called out a lot earlier.
Yeah,
I notice they want everyone to be, for the better word, pissed, and absolutely the party atmosphere. And that's what it's sold on. That is exactly the entire premise of the Premier League. But do not do it at the consequence of actually the quality on the stage. And you need to snap that out. You need to stamp it out, and you need to make sure it's not a thing.
And the worry is, we're 10 minutes into a review show at the first night of the Premier League. There's 16 more weeks of this, and already the attention is on crowd behaviour.
Yeah, and it's like you say, is it going to get better? Do we think it will? I don't. I think we'll see it again. I think we'll see it every week.
I think Scotland will be a nightmare for whoever plays in Scotland, and the Netherlands will be a nightmare for whoever plays there. The issue is that the rest of the UK isn't really that patriotic.
On the plus side, these days at Scotland, at least they don't throw coins at them like they used to.
Yeah.
Well, that is true.
Because no one does cash anymore. So.
Well, speaking of Scots, let's talk about the first game of the night then, and let's talk about Peter Snakebite Wright against Rob Cross. Now, look, this is maybe, I'm not, with the best one in the world, I'm not particularly asked about this game itself, because, brutally honest, we all expected the way that it happened. We all expected what was going to happen, the fact that Rob Cross was going to beat Peter Wright. But what is more interesting is what he has come out and said to us this week. Firstly, about the Euro Tour. We could probably talk about that for an hour and a half itself. But what I do want to play is a clip we had from the media day yesterday about Peter Wright talking about Luke Littler.
No, he's 17. He should, obviously, it was his choice to and his manager like to come into the Premier League, so you shouldn't put an arm around anyone. You don't get it with the obviously Luke Humphries. He's not going to get it. It's the first Premier League, you know. As soon as he starts getting beaten up and stuff there, you know, on the floor, and then coming to the Premier League, getting beaten up again, you know, no one's going to go round and hold him and make sure he's all right. And you want to do any interviews today? I think no. Oh, okay, you just stay where you are. You know, just play next week. No, I don't think it should be babysat. You got to, you know, you're into the hardest darts thing you can play in the Premier League, so it's got to deal with it.
He's right.
I have to be honest.
He is right.
I have to be honest though. Before you go, I have to be honest. One thing I did not have on my bingo card for 2024 was a villain arc from Peter Snakebite Wright.
No.
Firstly, the Euro Tour this week. Now this. Go.
Man's just there. He's just having it. He's like, I am just being me, and I don't care about anyone else. I am gonna do whatever I want to do, and I'm gonna play the way I want to play, and I ain't looking after anyone else. I like it. It'd be better if he could back it up with performances on the dartboard. That would help. But he is right. Like, Luke Littler is the hottest prospect in darts right now, possibly the best ever talent we've ever seen in this sport.
Steady on.
It doesn't mean he should get his...
No,
he is. It doesn't mean he should get his hand held, though, because he's only 17. No, if he wants to go up there and fight with the big boys, he's chosen to take this opportunity, him and his management. Why should he get any treatment? You want to put it right on him and say, see if you can handle this. And to be honest, he'll probably handle anything that Peter Wright throws at him right now, because Peter Wright is, as good as he is, playing probably one of the worst lots of darts of his career, because he's struggling at the moment. What he needs to do, by the way, that haircut without the style, just the grey little mohawk and the white t-shirt, looks miles better than anything he puts on every week as well.
Or he could
go back to
3 years old and just have a normal haircut.
No, but even without that, like just the hair without doing it up, with the white t-shirt, it looks mint. It looks really good. Just do that rather than the nonsense that you put. Like, why is he wearing a Wales shirt?
They all did tonight.
I'm not a fan.
They're all at it
tonight. And Bully did it as well. He was fully got drawn into this thing. Where my has got
new
drawn
shirt
into
white is in black, and he's gone straight for green today.
Yeah, no. With the dragon in the middle of it, like what is going on? Like, but just play your game. Like, you are a self-diagnosed Scotsman, when you're technically an Englishman. Why have you got a Wales shirt on? Like, I'm confused.
I mean, to be fair, to be fair though, like, you know, that's like me saying that I support Ireland, obviously, with this accent, so I can't really talk.
We're not getting into that. We're not. That is a deep hole that we're not going down.
I need to go back to Wright's comments though, because there is something else to remember here. Like, this is such a different scenario, right? And whilst I agree that he should be told to just get on with it or not holding his hand, you also have to remember that the attention on the Premier League right now is by and large due to this 17-year-old, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't have backing. No, don't. But
I'll let you go. Go on. I'll let you go.
Right. Michael Smith said it perfectly in his post-match interview on stage with Wayne and Emma today. He walked into that room and he was allowed to just practice. Last year when he was world champion, they're pulling him off for interviews. He said he couldn't sit down for 5 minutes. And the first name he mentioned, not Luke Humphries, not Michael van Gerwen, they were pulling the 17-year-old off for pre-match interviews. Now, that's a difference, right? Because Peter Wright can walk into that room, and let's be honest, at the moment, nobody cares. He's not playing well enough.
The media do. The media don't care about Luke Wright. Come on.
Like he's not going to go and draw the media that are there. The attention there is for Luke. And if Luke was just there as an 8th pick outsider, all right, he might go and
contender or whatever it was years ago.
Yeah, and he's got to go and deal with that situation, then fine. But he's also got to deal with the added pressure of being the hottest ticket in the sport, if not one of the most hyped up talents in the world right now in any sport.
Yeah.
Right? In any news, Luke Littler is making headlines globally.
Yeah.
And he's got to go and deal with that. So whilst I agree that, all right, he shouldn't be babysat, I also think that there are some things that the players should be doing to protect him, to make sure he's around. Because if Luke Littler's around for the next 10 years, all right, he might take some money out of their pockets in finals, but he's going to make sure the value of that final and that runners-up check, by and large, is a lot bigger.
I agree with you.
I'll
agree
let
with
you go,
you,
Cam.
but-
Cam, just one final point on this and then go, because we've got to move on. But just one final point. Go on. All yours.
Oh, sorry. Right, I thought you were making a final point. Sorry, I got confused.
No. All yours. Just
But
one
what I'm
final
saying
point
is,
on this.
I completely agree with you there, Carl, but that is not the player's job. The player's job is to go out there and play. Forget that they aren't there to babysit anyone else. That's someone taking money off their plate. So it's not
they are there to do it.
And I get what you're saying. Like, he's bringing more money into the sport, and he is doing. But their job is to go and beat him and just forget about him and take the money that he's bringing in. It's not their job. That is the PDC's job to look after him, not the players at all.
It's amazing how quickly he's changed his tone, because when Fallon Sherrick was having her success, he was one of the players that sat there going, "She's brilliant for the game. She's going to bring more attention in." So
It's so though. It's not
because they
it's
bought
not
him a
said that Luke.
17-year-old that kicks his ass.
No, but he's not said that Luke's not that. What he said is, "I'm not going to hold his hand," and he didn't hold Fallon's hand either. Like, come on, like he stood up there for 32 legs against her and averaged 105 and went, "I'm not holding your hand. I'm still going to beat you."
We've got to move on. He was, but like I say, Peter Wright was good, not anymore. We've got to move it on. Here's the thing, right? Okay, we're going to talk about the other three finalists that lost tonight. Obviously, Nathan Aspinall, Michael Van Gerwen, and Luke Humphries, all losing in very different ways. God, out of the three, who would you be if you had to predict stuff as well? Cam will ask you the same question in a minute. Who would you think is in the most danger right now? Because I haven't thought, and I think you'll be surprised.
Out of Aspinall, Van Gerwen, and Humphries?
Correct.
Asp. Don't get me wrong, he's playing Gezi in Cardiff, and he was one of those bottom four. I said that there was creating two groups in the Premier League. Michael Smith was one of the bottom three, if you like, that was struggling for form and has now gone and won the opening night. Aspinall loves a scrap, gets involved in it, and goes and plays Gezi in Cardiff. But there are still concerns that until he returns to winning ways, that's when the monkey gets off his back. Because you can go and battle, you can go and scrap every week. Kim Hybrecht's went and scrapped every week, averaging nearly 100 for his Premier League campaign, but he didn't win a game in 9 weeks and got relegated back in the day when that was a thing. Right? Jelle Klassen's rocked up and done the same. Mentor Sulevic has genuinely averaged 100 in this tournament and won 2 games. Like, it's brutal the way it goes. I know that you're swaying towards the world champion, but I just think he'll bounce back. He's played Littler twice in 2 weeks, and he's looked a little bit edgy about playing Luke twice in 2 weeks because all the hype and attention, and he's settled in a bit more, and he's clearly a bit fearless. He's responded in brilliant fashion. That's where you're edging towards. I can tell by the look on your face and the way you phrase the question, but for me, it's still Aspinall.
Cam, I'll let you go before me.
I'm going the other way. I do think Nathan's struggling a little bit. And for the first, for tonight, yes, he's averaged 88. But there was one leg that was an absolute, for want of a better word, a shit show. Like, that second leg was horrific. Like, the outer ring was like, it looked like none of them could find it. They didn't know where it was. They might have been in a different postcode from it, which didn't help his average. But I actually thought he played okay tonight, other than that leg. And he's not my worry. And my worry is the one that nobody's predicting here. But Michael Van Gerwen keeps playing.
You sod, because that's the one I was going for. Wasn't to do with Humphries, it was to do with Van Gerwen.
He keeps playing. He keeps playing okay and losing against the best players. And he won the Dutch Darts Masters the other day when every single person in the venue was on his back, like looking after him, holding him, putting the pressure on Littler. Yes, he won that. But he looks so ropey at the moment. Like, even when he's playing well, like, there were legs against Michael Smith where he looked unbelievably good. When the first dart went in the right spot, you just thought 180. And a few of them were only 140s, and you were like, how was that only a 140? Because it was a 180. Like, it was a 180 after the first dart. But in that design leg, well, no, actually, the leg before the design leg, when he was 5-4 up, he had 4 visits in a row of 58. Every single time, 58. Low 20, low 19, low 19. And then I think the last one of the 4 was low 20, low 19, high 19, because he tried to pitch it over the top and it still went in the single. He had 58 in a row, 12 darts without a treble. He looks vulnerable. He's not, no one's scared of him anymore. He is the Man United of darts. Like, he used to be the one that everyone walked up and they were already 3 legs down before they started playing. They aren't now. No one cares anymore. Everyone just walks up and goes, if he leaves 32, he's going to go outside, inside, outside, which he does more often than any player I've ever seen play the game. And I'm going to get chances. And when I get chances, I'm going to take them because everyone else is that good.
So here's the thing, right? I actually agree with Cam here. MVG is in a world of trouble. And I'll explain the reason why. The problem is that the way that he's throwing the dart, and Gob, you know a lot more than I know about the way darts go in. So
yeah, Gob's the one for this. He's the one with the technical analysis. Like.
Yeah, it's the way that the moment that he's holding the dart in particular, he's holding it far too low. Now we talked about this. I know Chris Mason and Wayne Mardle have been talking about this on X recently, but it's the way he holds. Yeah, he does, and that's the biggest problem. And you've also got a huge problem as well. And Smith, in that game between Smith and MBG, the pair of them weren't throwing great. Like the way, I mean, I know Smith's won tonight, and we'll talk about that in a minute, but the way the dart now comes from Smith is the way he holds it, it's the way he grips it, it's the way that it flies over. There's so many more crossovers, if you like, and there's so many more flyers into the 5, into the 7, or into the
bigger dart than he used to have. Like, that's the thing for Smith. Like, it's a much bigger dart than he used to have. It doesn't slot in like they used to do.
But obviously with MBG as well,
different. Like, it's the same dart.
Yeah. It is the same dart, but the way that he throws, I mean, that 130 attempt when he tried to go and win the match,
119-1, miles
exactly.
away.
He just didn't. He didn't have any confidence with the dart. And Gob, like I say, you're the technical expert on this and the way that it's thrown. The angle of the way that it goes in and the way that it sits in the board now, he just doesn't ever seem to have the right grip, and he doesn't seem to ever have confidence with the dart. And my biggest worry is that it feels like, I know he won last weekend, there's obviously that moment of it, but it feels like he is now searching to try and get back to that level that he was, worried that he won't ever do.
I'm not sure ever. Obviously, I was the one to write him off a couple of years ago and say wouldn't win a tournament in the following year, and you all laughed at me. And it sort of came true, boys.
So now, all right.
Anyway, look, clearly his action has evolved. The starting angle that he has it in his hand is far more aggressive. There seems to be a little less snap in his wrist. And like I said, they are dropping into the barrel, into the board differently. The similar dimensions to what he had before, but it's that starting position, that end position. Now, naturally, it evolves. My throw's changed hundreds of times over the years. That's probably why I'm crap still. It's changed far too often, but it will change a little bit. You go back and look at the way that Phil Taylor used to throw a dart when he was throwing long straight barrels compared to when he changed. Even when he changed manufacturer from Unicorn to Target and they changed the grip at the back of the dart, he had those 3 little grooves put into it and all sorts. Like, he went chasing and tinkering and changing, and he's done it now on the seniors. He's had his eyes corrected. He was always been left eye dominant, so he's been across himself. He's had that corrected now, and it's changed a bit for him. So throws are naturally going to evolve. I still think he believes. He always will do, even when he's at his lowest, or he's never going to let on that he doesn't believe. That's one of the bonuses of what Michael van Gerwen has always been about. I think the fact he won last week, all right, yes, the World Series is slightly different to the Premier League, but he'll still do enough to be there, in my opinion. Michael Smith played steady again. Like you said, there was enough on Smith's strength tonight in his own way.
I don't know, like, Bully literally was gone in that game. Like, he was leading 4-2, and MVG won 3 legs on the bounce, playing pretty well. And then his head fell off completely. That wasn't his action. Like, he just went to pieces. That's more worrying than anything else with the throw. Because I used to think, yes, the throw, there's something different. But when he hits the top of that treble now, which when he used to hit the top of the treble, it wasn't like he wasn't a first dart merchant. Now he is a little bit, like a lot of players are. When it goes in the top of the treble now, you literally think every single time it's 180. Whereas he used to switch a lot. They didn't go in the same order like they do now. Like, they weren't like consistent the way they were now. Even though he was scoring highly, he was always switching a lot, and he was like, if the first one didn't sit right, he'd just move. Now, if it goes in the
part
top
of that was boredom as well.
Now,
Like, let's not write off the fact that he couldn't hit the 180s or go berserk or use that first dart.
Mm.
He got fed up of going 180, 180, 141, so he started searching for different ways to match and teeing up different.
I mean, come on. He only ever went 17 perfect darts into it. Like, come on. Like, you don't do that.
Multiple times as well. Let's not forget the UK Open moment in 2015. We are going to move it on, though. We will see what happens, obviously, next week in Berlin. Don't forget as well that we are partnered with the official title sponsors of the 2024 Premier League darts. They are, of course, our BetMGM. You can sign up right now, and you can get some fantastic sign-up offers. They are all available if you get the BetMGM app or if you search BetMGM on your website feed, and you'll be able to get them across there. And don't forget, of course, they have some fantastic special offers throughout the Premier League as title sponsors. Remember, of course, 18 plus, and please
gamble responsibly.
Yes, be gambleaware.org when the fun stops.
But yeah, bet 10, get 40. Take advantage.
As we say, when the fun stops, stop. Or in our case, when the fun stops, remortgage the house. We're going to move it on.
Yeah.
We're going to move it on. Because we have to talk about the two losing semi-finalists. That is Rob Cross and a very certain Luke Littler, who, of course, has been dominating in the build-up to this Premier League for 2024. Cam, I will start with you. What are your thoughts, first of all, on Luke Littler? I mean, he played very, very well against Luke Humphries. We've already talked about the whistling and the knobheads that were involved in that. And there were obviously knobheads involved again against the bully boy. But again, that's the second time in a week that he's had darts to win a big match. He had a chance to win the Dutch Darts Masters, take it to a last leg decider. He didn't do that there. And then he went inside there on a double 15 where he looked like he went a little bit all over the gaff in the leg of there.
Yeah, a little. I mean, it's a bit of a stretch when we're talking about this being a wobble from someone that's averaged 105 and played an unbelievable game of darts and have like 40.
That's how darts works, my friend. That is how darts works.
That is how it is at the top level. If you go up in a best of 11 game against the best players in the world, 105 and 40% of doubles might not be enough, and one little wobble might be enough to lose you a game. But I don't think he by no means did he not do himself justice tonight. He played well up there tonight.
I agree.
And I thought Bully was actually excellent in this game because he wasn't at his best in terms of scoring, which he hasn't been since he changed the darts. And I don't think he's going to get back to doing that without going back to the old darts, because the bigger, the more bulbous, they're not quite the same and they don't come out of the hand the same. But even so, when that action is smooth, he's so smooth in it. Like it's so nice when he puts the first one in the top of the treble. And
you touch on the action. I'm sorry to interrupt, but Gob, we were discussing this earlier on outside, because would you believe this? We actually do talk to each other outside of this station. Would you believe? We were talking about this earlier, Gob. That action to me at the moment is not holding up to scrutiny. I know that sounds ridiculous.
There's a lot of shoulder in it.
The darts are hitting the board so hard that it's worrying me. And there's so many more deflections. There's so many more misfires into the other side of the boards. A lot of fives, a couple of sevens, and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
If it continues like that, it's going to be very, very difficult, isn't it, Gob?
Wait, who are we on about?
Smith.
Littler.
Oh, Littler. I thought
we were about that.
Yeah, I was. Sorry.
Yes and
sorry, but we'll talk about Smith a bit later because obviously he won the night. Sorry, my fault. But yeah, Littler.
Yes and no. I think when you throw it as hard, his setup is balanced so finely for him. I think
He's got really long points. They make a difference. Like
a lot of players in that room would struggle to throw the dart that he's got, right? Because it's just the same way that Justin Pipe's dart was ridiculously long. You look at the way it laid down, but the balance in that dart was beautiful as well. If you've ever thrown his exact setup, yes and no, I guess is the difference, Jar. I guess the thing with Luke is when he does throw so hard, it's easy to bring that shoulder in and snatch when you're missing, but we just haven't really seen that from him. You said there's a few wild darts. I think that's always been in Luke's game. Let's not underestimate where he is. Like, he made a run to the World Championship final. What I like to do is compare Luke right now to Bo Greaves in the women's game. Right, it is not always every single leg, rat-a-tat-tat, 12, 13, 15. That it's not the be-all and end-all of consistency. Like,
he's 18 and 11.
Campaign, Luke will be in the bottom half or the top half for most visits without a treble.
Yeah, but he'll also be in the top half of the most 140s,
180s, 140s, stepping around the board and setting it up when he is trebleless, leaving it in opportune positions for him to then respond with a 3 treble visit to leave himself on a finish, right? He's still evolving. He's still 17 years old. He's still learning the game, right?
He's got a million years
he has made in such a short space of time.
Yeah.
So the concern is that he does have those darts in him, but he just has that scoring power to bail him out of trouble. And sometimes it's not going to be enough. Sometimes, look, the 105 is a reflection of the fact that when he's had the darts, he's absolutely blown Michael Smith away.
Yeah.
But when he's chasing Michael Smith, he's been there or thereabouts, but not got a dart
it's
at it.
Timing.
It's the other way around. It's timing, and he'll get used to that. Players will crumble under that. Some will, some won't. He does throw.
But he'll get better at that as well. That's the thing. Right.
Yeah. But as long as Luke is confident and believes in his own ability, that snatchy action that you get with somebody who throws the dart relatively hard isn't going to appear as much. He does have the odd loose dart, but again, the margin for error with a dart that long is always going to be significantly lower than something a bit smaller.
Yeah, if you got a short point and a short stem, then it's a lot easier to follow a dart than it is with something long and thin like what he throws. But he's unbelievable at following what he throws. Like, when that first dart goes in the right spot, it's very rare that he doesn't follow it.
So we'll move off of Luke Littler and move on to his teammate, Rob Cross, who, of course, was returning to the Premier League. First time he's in this format. Last time he was there was in 2021. Milton Keynes did get relegated that year. Can't get relegated this year. I think it was a massive help for him, Cam, that he got Peter Wright first up. It would be difficult against Gerwyn Price, but Michael Smith's MO coming into the tournament, Dan Dawson was saying on comms earlier tonight, was get 2 points a week or make the house. He's done that. He's got 2 points to start off with, and now he has the opportunity to keep going. And then he's obviously got this weekend in Milton Keynes in the Masters as well.
Yeah, me and Gob had this conversation multiple times last year about we don't really like the way that the points format works, in the fact that you get less for winning a final than you do for winning a first round game. And that, like you say, winning a first round game every week will get you into the finals. Which, should it? We're not sure. Like, we'll debate that till the cows come home. But that is how the format works. And like you say, he played really solid against Peter Wright, and he played really solid again against Gezi. But he's at that level right now, Rob Cross, where he's playing really well, but he's not winning enough games. Like, and he keeps coming out of every game with a lot of credit. But you got to get over the line at some point. And for someone that loves double 18 the way he does, he looks shaky as hell on it every time he leaves it. He looks good on double 16. He looks solid enough on tops. But double 18, double 9, I wouldn't back him to hit one at the moment, the way he's playing. And that's the worry for him, because he's always so good at just taking that extra second, resetting and throwing that double. But his favourite double right now is not his friend, and it's not been for a few weeks. It wasn't in the Worlds, and it's not again now.
I don't see that as a negative, because I look at the way that he's playing at the moment, the way he's performing, the way he's battling, the fact he's done enough last year to get himself back into contention for this Premier League after talking himself out of it the year before. And that will come back. You don't just suddenly lose faith in
Oh,
his
no,
favourite.
of course you don't. But
So the fact that he is as competitive and as comfortable as he is right now is a clear bonus. That the fact that he's missing one of his biggest weapons in his arsenal, that double 18, is at the end of his fingertips as and when he needs it, a la double 10 for Michael Smith and for Luke Littler and tops for a James Wade, if you like. So look, it's not a negative. I think to run into Gezi game 2 in Cardiff is always going to be tough. I thought he was okay against Peter Wright. I still think there's more to come from Rob Cross. And actually, I keep saying this, the fact that Aspinall's form is being questioned and that he didn't play a lot last year. Michael Smith was similar, but now obviously he's gone on to win tonight, so there'll be more attention on him. Rob Cross is in the absolute perfect position for these opening few weeks to just keep going on, accumulate points, make your semi-final, be competitive. Occasionally they're going to go your way, and he will be there or thereabouts at the end of this campaign because he is just being allowed to get on and do what Rob Cross wants to do and play darts. And he is in the perfect.
And if he gets to the final, I get that. And if he gets to the final, who's going to back against him? I wouldn't. I certainly wouldn't back against someone that's as good as Rob Cross under pressure. But
I would.
My worry is
there we go.
That he seems like he will refuse to switch away from the 18th when it's not working. And he must have been 20 odd darts at 18s and 9s tonight. And when he was hitting,
forget, of course,
but he was hitting 16s and 20s so well, but he refused to switch away from his MO of leaving 18s. But if you keep missing it, you have to be adaptable and give yourself the opportunity to hit something that you're actually hitting.
Well, he was adaptable. Don't forget on the 2018 World Darts Championship final, because what double did he hit in to find the World Championship? He hit double 16. Don't forget that to stop Phil Taylor winning title number 17. But we will move on and we will talk about the two finalists. First of all, before we hear from the nightly winner Michael Smith, let's touch on Gerwyn Price. Gob, you mentioned it there that you thought he was in that top 4 later on this year. A very solid night's work in his home country, of course, in his own capital city. The big question, though, is that whether he'll get that same sort of backing across the rest of the 16 weeks, because I can't see that happening personally.
Yeah, I think he's been given the perfect little leg up to start his campaign, hasn't he? The Premier League, notoriously for Gerwyn Price, has not been a happy hunting ground, the same as Peter Wright. But obviously last year that did change. He turned that around going all the way to the final. Form has been okay of last year. There was conversation about putting him as the best in the world. He is absolutely, for the last year, spent most of the season blowing people away in round 1 and round 2 and then finding a way to just fall off a cliff by the time he gets to round 3. Funnily enough, he's won 2 games looking pretty solid tonight. And then by the time it's got to the final, round 3, it's not gone his way, even in that crowd. So yeah, that will be a concern, the fact he's not backing up good early performances. A lot of these players don't quite have the same aura around them or the same air of invincibility that perhaps we've seen from these guys in the past, especially when they first burst onto the scene. The only one that's really got that to their name right now is Luke Littler. Everybody else is so comfortable and so content playing against each other that the fear factor is a little bit long gone in the majority of this Premier League. But the one place it does still exist, go and have a look at the world champion and his body language tonight against, all right, in a horrible environment for him, but just have a look at last week and then have a look at again this week as well. So yeah, a good outing for Gerwyn Price. The fact he's withdrawn from the Masters this week is a bit of a concern for me. I know it's stated for family reasons, but if you're just starting to get your form back, keep playing, play through it. You need to go and beat these guys. You need to go and beat the other guys that are gunning you down and chasing your spot in the top 8, the top 16. You need to go and keep those guys down, because the more you give them opportunity to go and win silverware and build confidence, the more rivals you're introducing to that top level.
I'm not sure.
So
I'm not
sure.
Sorry, but
carry on, Cam. One quick point.
Yeah, like I say, it's like I get what you're saying, like, and we don't know what's gone on. None of us do, in terms of the family, but there's obviously some reason that he's not playing. And he did still play tonight, which obviously throws that into question as, is there something that serious or is it not? But at the end of the day, forget about any of that. If he needs time off for his mental health, for his family, whatever, forget about results, the rest of it. Give the man time. It doesn't matter. Like, honestly, like, what does winning the Masters do for him if he goes up there and plays well because he's playing well? If he's
not one of
if he's missed out on time with his family when something's going on to win a tournament that, let's be honest, especially this year, because it's not even a Premier League qualifying tournament this year like it's been for the last 2 years, no one really cares about it that much. Let him have the time with his family and let him go.
All I'll say is, Gezi hasn't won a singles title, TV title, in a PDC for very, very long time. Far too long.
Family comes first. Family comes first at the end of the day.
It does, but the concern is if he needs, like I said, if it's a mental health break or something, if he needs that already in this season, it's going to be a long 16 weeks for him.
It might be, yeah, it might be. But he also played very well tonight. Let's be honest. Like,
but that's what I mean.
And he lost to a guy playing very, very well.
Go and win a title. Go and back up the fact that how many rounds do you have to win the Masters? 4.
Not many, but
4 from his
2.
position.
I think.
Yeah,
Four. Yeah.
Like, let's be honest. Like, there is a lot out there right now. Men's mental health is something that is not talked about enough. It's Owen Farrell's got a bit of credit for it recently because he's literally taken a break for it. Let's be honest. There's a lot more important things than winning the Masters.
Yeah, Josh has made a very good point. That's probably where he's going, and actually, he's probably staying in Cardiff to go and watch.
He's probably playing, to be honest, because there's that many people out for Wales. We will move on. We will move on.
As Gerwyn Price and first reserve Johnny Clayton both get call-ups for Wales.
We will move it on. I just want to point out the last time that Gerwyn Price actually did win a tournament on the television was September 2022 when he won the World Series Darts Finals in Amsterdam. The last ranked tournament that he won on television was a 2021 Grand Slam of Darts. It's been a long time since Gerwyn Price won a televised title. It has not been that long, though, as long as that, since Michael Smith won a televised title. That was, of course, the last televised title, 2023 World Darts Championship, and he won the night here today in Cardiff. Let's hear from the
Michael, congratulations. You said there you thought Luke Littler was Welsh. Did that surprise you? I'm guessing that you were expecting it against Gezi, but that take you back that you got it again in the Luke game?
It's going to be every week. It doesn't matter what it is. It's going to be every week, and you know what? It's fine. You just do it at the right time. You get to do it, but you wouldn't expect it. I expected more in the Gezi game, but I think when I checked the 107 to go 4-1, it kind of just dropped silent. Apart from when Gez made it 5-2, but then even my darts that last leg, it was silent. It just went dead. And no, thank you for letting me follow the line. But no, it was a great crowd tonight though. Here is 1 or 2, but Gezi should be used to it, especially from the world and stuff. He gets it all the time, and I kind of get involved with it. And I think you've seen tonight, I didn't get involved with anything. I just wanted to be so quiet, head down, get on with it. And luckily enough, it didn't put me off. I waited till the last leg of the Littler game to tell the crowd to I think it was just one person just being an idiot. Really, I just turned to him, tell him to shut up, and yeah, just got on with it. And it's expected. Especially if you're playing Gezi, you expect to be booed. Whistling's not the best, but it happens. In any sport, it happens.
He was right there, by the way. I did like the celebration after the game. That was very, very good indeed. A quick note then on the winner, Cam. Look, Cobb sat here on Monday night on the live lounge, which of course you can watch live, 8 p.m. GMT on a Monday night here on Online Darts, and he said that Michael Smith was in a bit of trouble. And to be honest with you, I did agree with him, considering what I saw at the Dutch Darts Masters, particularly against Jan van Veen. But he has backed that up and told people exactly where to shove that opinion, because that is a massive win for Bully Boy. In fact, actually, that is 4 of the last 5 Premier League nights, around the country. Forget the finals night. That's 4 out of the last 5 that Bully now won. He likes this tournament and he likes this format.
Yeah, he's put a marker down on it. And I think it does suit him because he gets into a rhythm playing 2-3 games a night. And it's nice to see someone make God look silly, isn't it? We all like a bit of that, to be fair. It happens very often. That's why we like it so much, because generally he kind of knows what he's talking about. To be nice to him for once, but it's
No, he
nice to see
doesn't.
him fall flat on his face and say he's banging trouble, and he walks up, wins the first night. Right. No, I thought, honestly though, like, you can try and cut me off all you want, but I thought he played really well tonight, and he had a little wobble in that game against MVG in the first round, but after that, he just looked solid, and it's not like blow people away, Michael Smith. Like, I don't think he has that right now, and he hasn't had that for the last year. But when he's playing well, and when they're coming out of the hand right, they're only 140s now rather than 180s most of the time. Because, and I do think that's the darts, and he massively just needs to get the old darts back out. I know he can't because it's a lot of money that he'd have to give up to do that, but they don't quite flow the same. But when he's playing well, those 140s still flow, and it's still after 9 darts, he's got 81 left, and he's got a chance of winning every leg, and he's playing well. He's not that worried about anyone else. He just goes up, he does his thing. I don't like his new shirts. Just stick with the red, like the St. Helens red V, and just stick with it. None of this pandering to the crowd, because they still don't like you, because you're still playing the boy in Wales. Like, they're still never going to like you because you've got a dragon on the front and a bit of green on there. Like, same with the Asp. Like, just be your man and just stand up there and just stick 2 fingers up to them instead, because him and Asp are quite similar. They're both battlers. They fight through games. Don't try and pander to the crowd. Give it against them and go back against them. But yeah, I'm sure
the DRA would be very thrilled about that one, because the Christmas party fund will
That is terrible advice.
Yeah.
No, I'm not.
Anyway,
I'm not saying literally stick 2 fingers up to them, but just don't pander to them by changing your shirt to a bit of Wales. Like, just go up there and play your game and beat the guy that they want to win, which he did.
Final thing, Gob, on the Premier League tonight. Yeah, final thought on the Premier League then tonight, Gob. A very good win for Buddy Boy, and he's put himself in fantastic position to win this, obviously to get to the playoffs already, because 5 points is a massive, massive head start on those in particular who've got 0.
In the words of Eddie Hearn, it's early days. Very early
it's early days, isn't it? No one's up for a fight. It's early days, isn't it?
Up for a fight? No, we can't say that. I neither went.
Yeah. Look,
Carry on.
good win for Michael Smith. But solid on his own throw. Still work to be done. Will be interesting to see how this 16 weeks evolves for him, and how much he takes on board Pro Tours and Euro Tours, etc. And how confident if he builds his confidence, then fine, absolutely. Look, there are worse places to be in the Premier League right now than winning week number 1.
The top of the table, yeah, of course.
Yeah, hello, Peter Wright. So look, you're not going to criticise the man for winning, but do I think he's returned to be a contender to win this title at the moment? No, not yet. I still need to see more from him to be confident enough that that's going to be a thing.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Key thing here, obviously.
He's done nothing yet that makes me think he's definitely winning this, but he's done everything he can do on week 1, and the sky's the limit for him.
The key thing here, obviously, of course, is with Michael Smith, is that obviously, as you say, he's now won at 4 of the last 5 weekly nights in the Premier League. So a very, very good start indeed. We are not going to do week 2 predictions for Berlin, because you can read them all when they give you Premier League predictions on the Live Lounge on Monday night, including from Gob, Boyce and Bars. They will be back at 8 o'clock Monday night. So join for all the predictions from the team that day. Before we do go, though, we do have another tournament. We won't be with you for the Fallout Bar throughout the weekend, and I'm sure you'll be thinking, thank God that. But we do have another TV tournament that everybody's the whole roadshow is moving down to Milton Keynes. It is the Masters at the Marshall Arena. As Cam was rightly pointed out, it is not in the same breath as it used to be. Obviously, of course, that is due to the Premier League picks already being in. But Cam, who are you picking to win the Masters then this weekend? One name for me.
I'm actually going for the last man in the tournament, Daryl Gurney, as the second replacement, because Jose de Sousa couldn't play. I think he just goes and wins it, and takes advantage of being the late man in that no one's worried about.
To be fair, actually, as well, Josh has gone with Gurney as well. So maybe you're onto something there, Cam. Who knows? Gob, who are you picking? Are you still picking the Bullet?
Yes, Bullet Dobie final.
I mean, I'm very happy if the Bullet goes and wins it, to be fair. But
I'd love it to be a ranked event, but Stephen Bunting is 2024 is the year of the Bullet.
yeah, you've been saying that for the last 2.
No, I was on Ratajski like a while back and all sorts. Don't you worry about me, mate. I see it coming, right? I see it coming. Van Gerwen's demise, I saw it coming. Ratajski's upturn, saw it coming. Don't you worry about me, mate.
Ratajski's upturn that he's yet to make a maiden PDC.
Yeah, really good upturn. Yeah? It turned up so well.
From where he was, BDO World Masters gets Max Hopp suspicious style entry into a World Championship, and all of a sudden has a tour card. Yeah, he did bits from there. Don't you worry. But I got off the Ratajski train when it was pulling into the station, missing a wheel.
It sounds like a nibble, that.
Correct.
A little bit of a nibble.
I personally, by the way, going back to the Masters, I did say one name. I would love it to be him, but it's not.
Go on, Kevin Keegan. Go on.
I would love it, but it's not going to be him. I am actually going to go for a man who has won a previous PDC televised title. It is a ranked TV title. I am going to say Ross Smudger Smith. Because why not?
I love that.
I'm going with Ross Smith.
Why not? Because in a terrible part of the draw, isn't he?
He's got Luke Humphries or Stephen Bunting. He's got Stephen Bunting, but it's fine. Yeah, I don't care.
He's good enough. I don't care. Like if he scores like he can beat anyone, like.
If you believe something will happen, Gob, it will happen. I believe that Manchester United would finally get an extra goal tonight, and they finally did. So that will wait. It is a dart show, though. And
that was lucky as anything, mate.
I'm going to end it there. No. Right. I am going to end it there because I'm in control of this. Thank you so much, everybody. If you have to stay with us right through to midnight and watch it live. David Turnbull's going with Ryan Searle. Malachi's going with Humphreys as well. If you do have any, don't forget you can read our Masters preview that's coming out tomorrow morning because I'm going to be putting it live. So make sure that you have a look on there. Gob is off because he is going to go ready to go for Reading. I'm sure that Cam and I will be texting at 6:40 tomorrow morning when the second session of the Test match starts up the England.
6:40 or 4:40.
It's 4 a.m.
I'm not getting up for the morning session. Sod that. I'll watch the second session. It'll be fine.
Well, I'll text you while you're sleeping. When we're 70 for 8, I'll make you aware so you know when you wake up.
Thank you, darling. Right, you can all head off to bed. Thank you very much indeed to Cam McFarlane and Jack Garwood for joining us here on night 1 of the Fallout Bar. This has been an Online Darts production. Don't forget as well that we'll be here with you every single Thursday for the next 17 weeks, reviewing all the action from the BetMGM 2024 Premier League Darts. And don't forget as well to say a massive thank you once again to our sponsors, BetMGM. You can find out all the best offers for the Premier League as they are a sponsor by going to @BetMGM and following them on the App Store or going on to the website. And don't forget, if you sign up now and pay £10, you will get yourself £40 in free bets. Just go to betmgm.co.uk to find out more. 18 plus, be gambleaware.org. From all of us here on Online Darts, thank you so much for your company. Don't forget to follow us throughout the weekend because there'll be obviously coverage of the Seniors World Darts Qualifier, who will be making the final 2 trips, who will get the final 2 golden tickets to the Circus Tavern. You'll be able to find out with Gob and with Lee, who will be giving you all the social updates. And don't forget that Barzi will be live in Milton Keynes throughout the weekend, getting all of the reaction for the Masters. But this has been the Fallout Bar from Online Darts. Thank you so much for your company. We will see you again back here Monday night for the live lounge. It'll be Phil, Gob, and Lee talking you through another amazing weekend of darts. But from us all, thank you very much. Take care. Good night.
Multiply by 10 plus 1, Romeo done.